Hey everybody, it's Dr. Dave, Psychiatry. Thanks for the YouTube channel today. Once again, reminding you that if medication fixes your problem, that means you have a medical problem, not a mental problem. Today I'm going to do a quick video about a question I received from a commenter, so thanks for your comments. Problem with the comments is I work full-time. I don't get to all the comments. I apologize to those of you who are hoping I will respond. Sometimes I'm able to, sometimes I'm not. I'm trying to see what I can do with that, but appreciate your understanding. But this comment was easy. Hey, Dr. Holmes, Dr. Dave, can you do a video about transitioning from Prozac to Lexapro? Now, in other videos I've done, I've talked a little bit about the transition, did one recently about transitioning, I think it was Lexapro and Zoloft, but the point today was to talk about Prozac specifically transitioning to Lexapro. And that gives me an opportunity to talk about Prozac and how it's relatively easy to transition from Prozac to Lexapro. So the punchline is you can literally stop your Prozac and start your Lexapro the same day. You don't have to taper, don't have to do anything fancy. You can go from 0 Prozac, you can go from 80 milligrams of Prozac down to 0 on the day you want to change and start Lexapro the first day. Now, obviously, I'm not giving you individual medical advice, so you have to talk about this with your doctor. But what I'm explaining is that, in my opinion, having worked with lots of patients over decades, really with Prozac, stopping Lexapro, what people call cold turkey, is not a problem. Cold turkey being a reference to getting off heroin. So you're not getting off heroin, you're transitioning from Prozac to another serotonin booster. So if that's all you want to hear, that's the answer. Now, a simplified explanation of that, if you want to continue watching the video, here's why. So the why is this. Prozac is fluoxetine. Again, if your serotonin is low, it needs to be raised. Fluoxetine, Prozac, is a strong serotonin booster. Now, when you take a medicine and it gets in your body, it dissolves, it goes to your bloodstream, goes to your brain, does its job. But then as it's circulating, it gets metabolized by the liver. And specifically, fluoxetine, when it goes to the liver, it gets metabolized into a what's called an active metabolite. Now, what does that really mean? What that means is that part of the Prozac molecule gets clipped off, and by having that part clipped off, it literally becomes a different medicine. So I think that's a methyl group is what gets clipped off. But the point is that once the fluoxetine has that part clipped off, it's called something different. It's no longer called fluoxetine. It's called norfluoxetine. And it turns out norfluoxetine, so that is the part that remains having something clipped off, that is what we call a metabolite because it's been broken down. It's called an active metabolite because it's still a really strong serotonin booster. So it's not that the fluoxetine goes in your liver and gets cut up into little pieces and is useless. It actually gets a part clipped off, and the part that's clipped off is very effective. And guess what? Not only is it effective as a serotonin booster, taking you from here to here, it remains in your system for about 3 weeks. So at least that's the time frame that I talk about people, that in general it takes about 3 weeks for all of the Prozac and all of the fluoxetine and all the norfluoxetine to leave your system. So if you think about how long it takes to get out, it doesn't get out right away. There's no emergency to get another medicine in your system right away. The medicine itself that you've been taking and the part that has been metabolized and is still active remains in your system. So that's why I call Prozac, fluoxetine a self-tapering medication. In my practice, I tell people you can literally stop it today and you're not going to have a problem with it. Now, other medicines like Zoloft and Paxil, Celexa, Lexapro, you can't do that. So Prozac is really unique in the sense that the metabolic product of the actual medicine itself remains effective, and in fact is in many ways as effective as the actual mother product, the fluoxetine. So that's a little oversimplified, but it's a good understanding of why it's okay to stop Prozac cold turkey. Again, remembering that we don't talk about cold turkey except in sort of joking that that's actually a reference to heroin. So if you are transitioning from Prozac to something else, the person who asked the question was, hey, what about Prozac to Lexapro? Well, in my view, if you're stopping your Prozac, it's going from here, relatively slow down here, and starting the same day on the Lexapro. That's something I would do without hesitation, and you can do one of these things. One's getting out slowly. So you don't want to wait the 3 weeks for the fluoxetine to get out of your system. In my opinion, what I tell people is that it's okay to go directly from one to the other, and one's going to start getting out, one's going to start getting in, because the Lexapro doesn't get in right away either. Lexapro takes some time to get in. And in my practice, that type of strategy works routinely. It's not something that I'm concerned about, and patients don't report back to me that they've had problems. If you weren't transitioning to Lexapro, if you're transitioning to something else in the other category of serotonin boosters, previously mentioned, Zoloft, Paxil, Celexa, Lexapro, that would be basically the same story for them. That, in my opinion, you would be able to stop the Prozac abruptly and on the same day start the other serotonin booster, so that you don't, the goal here really is they don't spend a long period of time without the serotonin boosting. You know, if you're already here, you don't want to be stuck there. And if you've gone from here, where you're doing good with the Prozac and having side effects or something like that, you don't want to go back down here for a month. So that's really the reason that we do it. It's not to try to rush you on another medicine. It's that if you're getting serotonin boosting and it's helped you and you've been on the medicine for some time and you're here, but you have to get off it for some reason, well, it's certainly true that you don't want to go back down here. You want to do everything you can to keep your serotonin activity in what, the good zone. So that is my brief video about transition from Prozac to Lexapro. I hope that's helpful to you. I appreciate the comments and the questions, and I'll do another one soon. I'm Dr. Dave, Psychiatry. Thanks for coming to see me.